you.
No, I'm waiting for you, dude. I'm fucking eating, dude.
No, we're not. I'm waiting for you.
I like it.
Welcome back to the Average Bros podcast. Fantasy football is the name. Fantasy football is the game. Average Bros is the name. Name of the game, fantasy football.
It was not a flop.
Listen, freaks. We're here. We're doing the first set of matchups for Week 10. This is episode 40, or 40. I don't know why I said.
Is it F40?
F40.
Is it a plane?
Fuck episode 40. You know what I'm saying, dude? Just kidding.
Season 2, Mike is the best.
Yeah.
So it's right there on the
I don't know why, whenever you burp, it just irks the shit out of me.
Really?
Yeah.
Me neither. Okay, we're here. We're talking about fantasy football. It irks. That's like some true feelings right there. You just told me. I'm kind of scared.
It's like when someone like the fingernail thing. Like when I hear it through the headphones, I'm just like
this is why I don't wear headphones.
yeah.
Oh, is that what it is? All right. Well, chill out. I'll turn my mic off when I'm eating the rest of my McDonald's. But listen, we're here. We're going to talk about some games. Before we start, I'm going to give you a list of the games that we're going to be talking about here. So if you don't hear these games listed right now, tune in to the next episode once we release it. That's going to be matchups part 2, and that'll be episode 41. It'll have those other games. So for this episode 40, we're going to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs playing the Tennessee Titans, the Cleveland Browns taking on the Buffalo Bills, the Tampa Bay Jameis Winston's going against Arizona Cardinals, the New York Giants against the other New York team that also don't play in New York. Yeah, and then we got the Saints playing the Falcons and the Ravens playing the defeated Bengals.
The defeated
Bengals. So if you didn't hear, like I said, if you didn't hear that game, game that you want to hear us cover, it's going to be in the next episode, matchups part 2.
Dude, for a second I thought you were gonna say that one breath. The start of it, you were like, I was like, dang, oh, he's going, he's on one.
Yeah, dude. It's because I burped and I had all this energy afterwards.
Yeah.
You released
freed up all that air, that lung space.
Yeah, exactly. It's just science. That's what
it's called. Fucking strategy.
Could you imagine if that's how it worked? Like singers, like opera singers, are in the back just fucking burping, just for hours, for 10 minutes maybe. I don't know. But yeah, let's get into it, huh? Before we start, actually, just go ahead and give us a subscribe.
Hit that little button.
You know what I'm saying?
Hit that. Is it a star? Or is it a thumbs up?
It's 5 stars, actually.
Ooh, you hit the 5 stars, and then you hit I think it's like a banner.
Yeah, like a Bruce banner.
Yeah. And then we'll do giveaways.
Green.
You subscribe to us, and then we'll do giveaways, and we'll tell you
How to enter it.
and then and then you can win some stuff. It'll be sweet. Do you guys want to just go ahead and start?
You want to do like a little recap of this Thursday night football game?
Yeah, let's do that to start, just since the Thursday night game just ended.
Felipe?
Yeah,
So-
a little Phillip Rivers action. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I could just say is, like, this is why, and I say it all the time, but I just hate projections. And when people talk about projections, and it's even when you get, like, a matchup where, like, the stars align, you know, Phillip Rivers, who's leading the league in the NFL in passing yards, against a Raiders team who's just giving it up more than any team in the NFL, you're thinking, oh, this should just be a money game here. He should have 400 passing yards and 3 touchdowns. But no, Rivers, 207 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. Should have had like 4 or 5 interceptions, actually. Terrible. I don't know if it was just a product of the Raiders' defensive line just getting a ton of pressure, but they were all up in his grill.
I think they're just getting excited to come to Vegas.
Yeah.
So they're getting more pumped up slowly.
I'm not even a Raiders fan. I'm kind of hyped since we're from Vegas.
They're 5-4.
Yeah, I'm hyped. Let's go buy a Josh Jacobs jersey.
I'm gonna get a Chucky doll or 2.
Oh, nice.
Do you think it was a fluke?
What was the fluke?
No, I think maybe this is a product of how bad the Chargers' offensive line is. I mean, their starting left tackle, Russell Okung, he came back a game or 2 ago and kind of helped boost the line. He actually left the game on the first or second drive. So, I mean, you're losing a Pro Bowl caliber left tackle. And then these DNs from the Chargers just kind of took advantage of that. But, I mean, besides that, we kind of touched on you could probably start Melvin Gordon and Austin Eckler with confidence in this game. And they both put up some good numbers. Melvin Gordon, 22 rushes, 108 yards, and a touchdown. Melvin Gordon didn't do too much on the ground, but in the air, 2 catches, 29 yards, and he got you a touchdown right there. Kind of saved your day.
You mean Eckler, right?
Eckler, what'd I say?
You said Gordon.
No. Well, yeah. So both those guys, good games for those guys. If you played them, you're pretty happy with what you saw right there. Actually, Melvin Gordon looked really good.
Yeah.
He looked a lot back. Like,
last episode when we were talking about trading him, I wouldn't trade him at all.
Yeah, after seeing that, I don't know if I'd be willing to trade him. I'd want something good in return.
Like, I'd veto my own trade if I did it already.
yeah,
Veto.
yeah, I fucked up.
Hey guys, do you guys see that trade? Yeah, you're part of it. Oh yeah, it's kind of sketchy.
Yeah.
You should veto it.
You're telling me. That's really funny. So what you're saying is,
It was not a flub.
Not a
not
flub.
for-
No, his
Melvin
last
Gordon's
game was
here.
not a flub. He looks pretty good. From the receiving standpoint, I mean, Hunter Henry, 4 catches, 30 yards, and a touchdown. He's a
done.
set it and forget it tight end every single week. It's the receivers here that got kind of tricky. Keenan Allen, PPR-wise, got you a good game. 8 receptions, 68 yards. So you like seeing that. You know, it's classic Keenan Allen
You had
PPR
an
game.
18-yard carry, which helps too. It's 2 points.
Yeah. It's just a classic PPR Keenan Allen game right there. If you're in the standard league, it kind of sucks. Only 6.8 points, or actually a little bit more with the carry.
Or hate standard.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing right here, and maybe it's just because I was so high on him coming into the season, is Mike Williams. You know, only 2 catches for 55 yards. He had the 1 catch for 45 yards as a deep bomb. But it's just crazy watching the game and how they just didn't even incorporate him into the game. I think he had like 3 targets, if that. And it's just like, I don't understand. Like I said, when the stars align for a matchup where, you know, Rivers just has the most passing yards playing against a defense that gives up more passing yards and the most big plays out of any team in the NFL so far this year. And you just don't even capitalize on, you know, a guy that you went out and spent your 7th overall pick, you know, in the first round on. He barely got used. So it just I don't understand it. I think what Anthony touched on is they fired the offensive coordinator, and it's just been like a whole switch of the offense.
Yeah, I mean, even in like you were just talking about the targets, and I remember I like clicked when we were talking about the Thursday night matchup, and I was like, last game they only threw to the receivers a total of 8 targets. It looks like a total of 10 targets this game to the wide receiver position, and this is in a game where they were trailing pretty much the whole game.
Yeah.
So it seems like, I mean, what we have through 2 games is they were in a position to win this game or at least come back and win it. It looks like their run first philosophy, and he threw the ball 31 times, but you know, it looks like a lot of those targets kind of went to the other team.
The other team,
or,
for sure.
Or the running backs. I'm trying to see where the missed targets went. I mean, Hunter Henry had 6. There
pretty much 8 straight incompletions. It was like, you know, 3 straight incompletions on the last drive, and then 4th down he threw another incompletion, but defensive holding, so he got a new set of downs. But then after that, 3 more straight incompletions, and then ended the game on a pick. And it's just like I just don't understand it.
Yeah, I mean, through 2 games, it just looks like this offense might be run first. You know, I wonder if there's going to be enough for 2 receivers to have a good game going forward, because the running backs are going to see their targets. Hunter Henry's going to see his targets. And then, I mean, you know, I think Keenan Allen edges Mike Williams, but I think we could see some games where Keenan Allen, you know, Mike Williams might get close to the same targets, and it might hurt Keenan Allen's upside, considering he's not, you know, making these big plays or these long plays like Mike Williams is. So I'm a little worried about the receiver position as a whole going forward with the Chargers right now.
Yeah. What about the Raiders side of the ball here? So Derek Carr finishes with 218 passing yards, only 1 touchdown, so nothing special. We kind of touched on it. We said, you know, probably would be avoiding Carr if you had better options.
It's not like Carr's doing bad, but he's just not doing fantasy exceptionally well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like from an NFL standpoint, he's doing okay.
His
Yeah,
QB passer rating or whatever is pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
He does. I mean, like I touched on it with him in this game. It's like in the previous one, it's like, okay, we've seen 3 good games in a row from him. You could say this was a 4th good game in a sense. They were up kind of early. It wasn't a great game, but it definitely wasn't. He didn't lose them the game they won. And, you know, going forward, he has the Bengals. He could easily be a streaming option next week against the Bengals. And then the week after, he has the Jets. So, I mean, it's pretty much 4 good games in a row from Derek Carr. We've seen no turnovers. So he's someone you might be, you know, whether it's a waiver wire next week or if you did pick him up to stash him, because I've actually seen some people pick him up and hold him in 1 league. No, 2 leagues I saw that I play in. So, you know, he's someone you might be able to use the next 2 weeks.
Yeah. I mean, we touched on it too in this last episode. Derek Carr's that guy where, like, he'll have a ton of, like I said, he'll start the game out with 9 completions, but it'll be like to 7 different receivers. And that's kind of what it was. I mean, 21 completions, but to 8 different people. I mean, when you're spreading the ball around that much, it's hard to really get any kind of volume or rhythm, I guess, with one guy. No receiver or running back or tight end or anyone had more than 4 receptions in this game. I think the only player you're probably happy with is Josh Jacobs. I mean, 16 carries, 71 yards, touchdown, kind of the game-winning touchdown, actually. And then a couple catches, 3 catches for 30 yards as well here. So he's for me, he's like a locked and loaded, like a low-end RB1, high-end RB2 each and every week, especially with the schedule coming forward.
Yeah. I mean, he's a top 12 back.
Yeah. I mean, you're the one who touched on actually in draft season saying how every single year there's a rookie running back who comes in who is like an RB1.
There's usually 2 point something.
Yeah.
We were I don't know what the point means, but yeah, it's like usually the 2 to 2.5 running backs.
Yeah. And we were touching, we were thinking it would probably be David Montgomery and Josh Jacobs, one of those two guys. And I mean, Montgomery's had some good games as of late, but I mean, Josh Jacobs has definitely been the guy he's going to win Rookie of the Year, in my opinion, Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I agree.
What about the receivers here? I mean, Tyrell Williams only 3 for 25, and then even Darren Waller only 3 catches for 40 yards.
I mean, kind of like we predicted, where it's like, I mean, I hate to not sound like we're like geniuses or anything, but like, we didn't see a big game from Derek Carr. He threw for 218 yards. You saw, Tyrell Williams go for 3 for 25, Hunter Renfrow 4 for 42. Darren Waller, someone you're still not benching. I just think it was a low pass volume for them in this, and they won it. It wasn't like the most efficient game. They scored when they needed to score. They got turnovers. It's kind of. It was kind of like the game played out kind of like we felt it would on the Raiders side, pretty much.
Yeah, for sure. All right, you want to jump into these matchups then?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
If you started the Raiders D, congrats.
Yeah.
Probably diehard Raiders fans alone.
Yeah, let's do it. So let's start on the Kansas City Chiefs playing the Tennessee Titans.
Tennessee Titans. Even goes.
I got a little notification. Sweet, love that. Let's clear those. But yeah, let's get into it.
All right, chef side of the ball.
Is Pat Mahomes out here or what? What do you got?
I believe he's out here.
I believe he is out here.
Let's check.
There's no flub. Send it.
Let's check.
He's trendy for his playing.
Yep, he's here. Sorry.
Yeah, so we got the Chiefs. They're traveling to Tennessee. The Chiefs are -5.5. It's a 48.5 point over/under. So starting the Chiefs side of the ball. I mean, I think Mahomes is definitely trending in the right direction to play. So if you have him, like I said, you're dialing him up. But I was listening to something earlier, reading something earlier, saying that if they want to be careful with their franchise quarterback, they could be a little cautious with how good Matt Moore has been playing. That maybe they sit him the next week, and then I think next week after that they have a bye, and then maybe bring him back after the bye, which would be week 13. So just kind of monitor it, I guess, as the week continues.
Yeah, I think I think he's trending towards playing, but I think that is a realistic possibility that they do exactly what you said, and I was going to bring that up. If he plays, you start him. It's pretty simple. If he doesn't, you can't start him. Yeah. I mean, you could, but you get a 0.
If he doesn't play, how do you feel about like Matt Moore as like a streaming possibility on the road in Tennessee? They did lose Malcolm Butler. I think he went on IR with a broken wrist or something like that.
I mean, I don't mind it. He has Tyreek. He has Kelsey. He has the weapons. I mean, you saw him connect with Tyreek last week. What did he throw for last week? Is it 2 something?
He's been like a serviceable guy. If he's not throwing up goose eggs for you. You know what I'm saying? He's not having a Felipe Rios game. That's for sure.
Felipe Picos. Yeah, I don't mind him as a streamer. Definitely not. I mean, it's the offense. It's a top 5 offense either way. Running back position, you got Damian Williams breaking off 91-yard touchdown runs last week.
Rashawn McCoy
is
he ghosted the fantasy teams. He just straight ghosted you.
He went shady. I don't know. I'm shady.
He's shady of the year candidate.
I mean, you feel comfortable with either of these running backs, or you just trying to avoid the situation as a whole because it seems like it's a guessing game week to week, and you're either going to get burnt by both, or one of them is going to score and you're going to be happy, or how you what's your take on it?
I mean, this is tricky. I mean, this is why I didn't want to spend a high draft pick on Damian Williams coming in, and once McCoy went over there, I have McCoy in like 1 or 2 leagues, and I kind of waited till the later rounds to grab him as like a value. But it just seems like this is just back and forth. We've even seen Darrell Williams come in and put up some solid games, and he's still getting some run even with McCoy and Damian Williams there. I mean, I guess one guy who's been kind of playing a little bit more than the others the last couple of games, it is Damian Williams. And, he has a good pass-catching running back. And just some numbers right here for the Titans defense. The Titans are allowing the 2nd most receptions to running backs, and they're allowing the 5th most receiving yards to running backs. So if Damian Williams is going to get I mean, even half of the snaps, I think he's a decent play, low end RB2 with some upside, obviously, in that offense, but a flex guy. McCoy, as far as I'm concerned, I think he only played 6% of the snaps or 6 snaps.
6 snaps, 10%.
Yeah, that's not good.
That's not good. Or even Pups agrees.
I'm a little nervous if I have McCoy. I don't know if I'd be playing him in this matchup. I maybe just. I mean, what's your thoughts? It's ugly.
I mean, this is our thoughts on McCoy. Is we're in a pinch this week because of some buys, and we're like, shit. Do we go with Josh Gordon, who might play 25 snaps, or do we go with McCoy? And like, we're kind of leaning on McCoy. If that kind of tells you that tells you how confident we are in a start, which isn't very confident.
Not confident.
Not confident at all. Starting him. So to me, if I'm playing one, it's Damian Williams, like you said. Probably a flex play. There are a lot of buys this week. It's 6 buys. So I think he's someone some teams are going to have to flex or start as your RB2 this week.
Yeah. Would you take Damian Williams over McCoy, though?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
I mean, back-to-back weeks with the snap percentage higher, a big game last week. You also never know with Andy Reid because he just makes his running backs disappear sometimes.
Yeah.
Even when Kareem Hunt was the workhorse, it would just happen sometimes. So.
I mean, for all you know, Damian Williams goes out there and fumbles, and then McCoy gets a whole workload. So it's just, it's a mess over there.
It's Darwin Thompson time.
fucking fantasy counselor.
Shout out to the biggest idiot in fantasy. Whatever.
All right. Anyways, to the receiver position, I feel like it's Tyreek Hill, and
That's
Tyreek
it. That's
Hill.
it for me now. Yeah.
And then to the tight end position, it's
Kelsey.
Kelsey
by the
and-
beard of Zeus.
And then Kansas City's defense, it's in Arrowhead. I know they're better at Arrowhead than they are in.
It's in Tennessee.
Oh, it is in Tennessee.
Yeah.
My eyes deceived me. 10 cannot see.
That's what Rivers was going to say in the press conference. My eyes deceived me.
I forgot my mustache at home.
I'd probably be fading the Chiefs defense here because I think this could be a shootout game. If the Chiefs come out and Mahomes plays, I think they put up some points. And then I think the Tennessee's obviously going to have to battle back and put up some points as well. Unless they get like a defensive touchdown, which is highly unpredictable. You can never predict that. Could you have predicted the Raiders were going to get a pick 6? I mean, it's just you just never know. Jump to the Tennessee side of the ball. With that being said, I think this game could be a shootout. So I do kind of like Ryan Tannehill in this matchup, especially if you're like, got 6 teams on a bye. Maybe you're scrambling to the waiver wire to see who's there. You just need to throw someone in there. Maybe I know there's some 2 quarterback leagues. Maybe it's super thin, but I like Tannehill and just especially because he was a Dolphin, and I hated when people would just trash him and talk shit about Tannehill because it's like they only see one side of the story with Tannehill. But being a Dolphin fan, we'd watch him every single week, and we would see the talent was there, but the Dolphins' offensive line wasn't good. They didn't have many weapons there, but obviously in Tennessee, it's a whole new change of scenery, new culture and everything. But just some interesting stats on Tannehill right here. Since he took over that job 3 weeks ago, he took it away from Marcus Mariota. He's actually the quarterback 5 in the last 3 weeks, and he scored 19 or more points in all 3 of those starts, and that's in like a 4-point standard passing league. So if you get 6 points passing in passing touchdowns, it's even more than that. Wow. So I like Tannehill this week.
I can fuck with him.
I'm actually in a pinch of where I got Matt Ryan, he's going to New Orleans, but he's kind of coming off that injury. Or do I start Tannehill at home? And I'm kind of leaning Tannehill right now. I think I'm just going to say fuck it, and because I don't want to have a game where Matt Ryan shits the bed. At least with Tannehill, like I said, 19 plus points in 3 straight games. I think I'll just take that consistent, safe floor and just be okay with it. Running back wise, Derrick Henry. I feel like you're starting him every single week.
Starting him, yeah.
I think he's gotten
he's a top 10 back. He's just.
I think he's gotten like 16 or more touches in every single game.
Yeah.
Plus all the goal line work.
He gets touches. He gets goal line work. He'll break one play a game.
Yeah.
For 20 plus, and if it goes the end zone, you're happy. If it doesn't,
yeah.
You're usually still okay so far with him this year. He hasn't been as much as up and down as he has in the years past, but it's solid. Probably safe floor, pretty high upside too.
Yeah. I think if you have Derrick Henry as like your RB2, you're pretty happy each and every week.
Yeah, because he's definitely had some big weeks for you.
What he's putting up there.
He went pretty late in a lot a drafts too. So he
was
probably
like a 4th rounder.
Yeah, but just pretty. I mean, if you think about the fact that Joe Mixon went in the 2nd round,
first round,
you know what I'm saying?
In one of my drafts.
Damn,
that's what I mean. Is like so.
Hard.
With that being said, that's pretty. If you definitely could have Derrick Henry as your RB2 every week.
Yeah, for sure.
Receiver side. I mean, I guess.
Well, just some injury news. Corey Davis hasn't practiced back-to-back days. He's dealing with a hip injury, so I have Corey Davis in one of my leagues, and I was gonna flex him, with all the buys and stuff like that. But he hasn't practiced. AJ Brown was on the waiver wire, so I just dumped Corey Davis, and I'd rather have a guy who's been practicing the last, he's incorporated in the game plan. He's been out there throwing the ball. And I was actually kind of thinking this too, sometimes you get the starters and they practice obviously with the starting wide receivers, but then you get like the backup and he plays with the second team. I think AJ Brown was mainly with the second team practicing in the training camp because you still have Tajay Sharp over there. You had Humphreys, Corey Davis, and whatnot. So I'm curious to wonder if maybe AJ Brown and Tannehill have had more reps together compared to Tannehill and Corey Davis.
Yeah, I'm in this situation where I was trying to get Corey Davis and I fell into getting AJ Brown in a deep wide receiver league, and I'm kind of hyped.
Yeah,
I think you're right. They do. It does seem like they have somewhat of a rapport.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. The last 3 games in PPR leagues for AJ Brown. It's AJ Brown, right?
Yeah.
I think it was 12, 9, and 12. So kind of like a safe floor. You kind of know what you're going to get there.
But he's getting you points on the board.
Yeah.
I mean, this could be a game where he has a big game.
Yeah.
I mean, they said Tannehill's been pretty 20 points plus. Targets have been there. If there's no Corey Davis or a limited Corey Davis, I mean, you got to figure he's, could be a wide receiver 2 in this matchup.
Yeah. In a possible shootout as
well. Tight end position. I mean, I don't think Delaney Walker's. I think he's still out.
He's
using that walker.
Yeah. I mean, Jonnu Smith's there. He's had. I'm trying to look. Let me pull up his games. I know he's had two decent games. 3 for 64, 6 for 78, and a touchdown. Last week was 3 for 18. I think Carolina was really tough against tight ends, though.
Yeah.
I remember looking at that. I mean, he's someone. If Corey Davis is out for sure, I don't mind throwing out there. I mean, this is a name where it's I know there's a lot of people. He might be back this week. I would start him over Chris Herndon. I personally just don't.
Yeah.
I don't want to fuck with someone coming off an injury, 10 weeks. What's his snap percentage going to be? What's his role going to be in his first week? I'd rather start Jonnu Smith than a Chris Herndon.
Yeah.
That just might be someone where you're in a pinch, and that's something where it's potential shootout, maybe no Corey Davis or limited Corey Davis. We've seen some good games from him versus the wild card at what's Chris Herndon and the Jets offense and his snap percentage.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. Titans defense. I mean, not going against Mahomes. You're never starting a defense against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Yeah. So we jump into the next game. You got the Buffalo Bills. They're going to play at Cleveland. This line's kind of crazy because the Browns are actually -3 with a 40-point over/under. You'd think the Bills would maybe be favored, or actually a pick 'em or a -1 or something. But
I think the Bills are a much better team than the
smell
Browns.
It smells fishy.
I know, yeah, because I feel like everyone's going to take the Bills +3, right?
Yeah.
You would think, right?
You know what it is?
The testosterone high today.
That's what it is.
It is in Cleveland. That's where the testosterone is.
Yeah, all that testosterone, bro.
All right. I mean, you're not starting Baker. I mean, I'm not starting Baker.
You can't start Baker. He hasn't thrown for more than 1 touchdown in any game this year, which is you have backup quarterbacks doing that on the regular.
Yeah, Fitzmagic doing that, bitch.
Yeah.
Get bodied.
Dude, if I was Go ahead.
Oh, you started talking.
No, I didn't.
Oh, we were hearing shit? Okay.
You wanna fuck with my huh?
Nick Chubb, you're still dialing him up. Kareem Hunt, are you comfortable?
Bro, didn't you hear?
Oh,
You
yeah,
gotta be a lion,
he's
dude.
taking over. You got to be a Lion. Too bad he doesn't play for the Lions, because then I'd start him.
Why? What happened?
No,
Nothing.
that fucking nerd.
Okay. Clownsleur.
The counselor.
Dude, that guy sucks so much. No, yeah, he was just talking about
Yeah. I'm not running him out there in the first game. I think it's going to be very limited. I know Buffalo's not good against running backs, but it's a risky play in his first week back to me. I mean, I know he's going to have a role, but what is that role?
Yeah.
I mean, he apparently is going to lead the league in rushing again, but on a realistic term, I'd have a hard time rolling him out there. I mean, I guess for instance, I have to start Kalen Ballage this week because I have no running backs. Oh, fuck, that'd be a tough one. Kareem Hunt or Kalen Ballage. I think I'd go Hunt just based off the upside, but it's
you just don't know what you're gonna get.
That's kind of telling you how uncomfortable I feel putting him in there.
Yeah,
in the first week.
You just don't know what to expect. He could come out there and get 12 touches. He can come out there and get 3 touches.
Yeah.
You just don't know. For me personally, if I have him, I would probably just want to see how he gets incorporated. And if I see that he's getting used a lot, then I'll feel a little bit more comfortable throwing him out into my my lineup next week because the schedule does get a little bit better for the Browns going forward towards the end of the season.
Yeah. Receiver side, you got Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry. I mean, the only league I have Odell in is I auto drafted him.
Yeah.
So it's like, but I've like at this point, it's like, dude, I've started him so many weeks. Like, if I bench him this week and he goes off, I'm just gonna want to blow my brains out. And it's like, I know it's.
Well, I traded for him. I traded Melvin Gordon for him, which sounded pretty good a couple weeks ago, but now not so good.
I mean, I was reading today where Baker's like, we gotta like, he's like, I need to force feed him like nonstop early. Like, I need to just get things going, and like he really does. I mean, this is the first time I think in his. So another statistic on Odell Beckham where it's like, I think it was 6 targets was the number. He's had 6 targets. Oh, fuck, I'm butchering this right now, but like, he hadn't had to get like he had 6 targets or less or something like that, and like. His Giants career only 4 times, like never, and he's already like topped that in like 10 games with the Browns.
With the Browns, already.
Yeah, it's a stat something like that where it's like the targets need to start going his way, and Baker needs to start doing so the coordinator too, not just Baker. They need to start dialing up some like quick slants to him, some stuff to like just get him
anything,
going.
I mean.
Anything, man. It's like I know it's Baker's too, but the coordinator right now is just like he's still running that Tampa Bay offense where it's just all vertical shit, and it's just the line is not there, the offense is just not. I mean, it's just not doing it, and they need to do some stuff to get him going. So I'm still starting him, you know, and if he's still kind of getting you 5 for 50 week to week in a PPR format, so he's not really killing you. He had those 2 weeks where he did kind of like suck, but he's still getting you something. So
yeah,
he's not getting you eggs every
yeah,
week.
he's just not winning you those games like you drafted him to win you games in like the second or first round whenever you took him.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the Browns, man. It's just so funny hearing everybody being so hyped. I think we were playing poker, and Brett was talking about how the Steelers are. Oh, are you worried about the Browns taking the division? I'm like, no. Like even with all those
that in
guys,
offseason, yeah.
I'm like, dude, the Browns? Come on, man.
yeah. What about Jarvis Landry here? Because he actually has more targets than Odell. I think I was looking at it was like Landry 68, Odell had like 66, and Landry actually has 11 or more PPR points in 5 of the 8 games they've played. So, I mean, if you drafted Landry, you probably drafted him to be like your flex guy, your third wide receiver.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if you know, especially because Tre'Davious White should shadow Odell, and if that limits Odell's targets or upside, then I think Landry's the guy who kind of can eat in the middle of the field. It was still like every week we touch on it. He's still such a really good NFL wide receiver.
He's a safe PPR guy. Standard, that's where I might look elsewhere. Standard.
Yeah,
like you
so,
said,
yeah.
Baker hasn't thrown more than 1 touchdown all
No,
year.
no.
So standard, I'm kind of going elsewhere. PPR, I don't mind it.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
No tight end.
No tight end.
No kicker. No defense.
Defense, no.
Why is everyone so fucking stupid?
That's like the Browns motto right there.
That's Odell when he goes in the locker room.
Yeah.
Why is everyone so fucking stupid in here? Move over to the Buffalo Bills side of the ball. I mean, Josh Allen. I'm trying to think of his stats off head. I mean, I feel like he hasn't had a bust game as far as that goes.
Not really. I'll pull up because I have him a couple leagues. So
He hasn't had like those big games he was having though last year.
He had a couple in the beginning. He had 24, 20. It's 25. He hasn't really gone over like 26 points.
I feel like he's like what Lamar Jackson was last year, where like he was getting you like anywhere from like 16 to 24 points.
It was he's just his rushing upside just keeps him in fantasy relevant.
Yeah, he's a safe play week to week. He's not gonna lose you a game. He might not be winning you games at this point, but he's not losing you any.
Yeah, he's like a good guy to have as like a bye week.
Yeah,
fill in.
I know the last 2 weeks have been kind of bad for him and John Brown, but Minnie was telling me too is like I didn't know, but like the last 2 games they've played, the winds have been 30+ miles an hour,
which is
so that's played a factor in
impossible
his
to play.
passing upside, as well as it's kind of limited John Brown on the passing options as well too. So hopefully there's not 30-mile-an-hour winds again.
we got.
So if you guys didn't know, Dalvin Cook sucks.
He's no
So you're
good.
benching Dalvin Cook?
Benching Dalvin Cook, huh?
Benching Dalvin Cook. You heard it here first.
He's predicting
We
the
got the
Doug game.
consigliere.
Running backs, I mean, after seeing what Singletary did last week, I'm firing him up again. Frank Gore, leaving him on the bench. I mean, I don't know the snaps, but I think the touches were like 20 to, what did Frank Gore maybe have 5 touches last week?
Yeah, it's been the Singletary show since he's coming back.
Yeah. He could be a league winner down the stretch where
For
it's
sure.
like he's either your flex or your RB2 now, and he just
That backfield's looking single scary.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to throw that one in there.
Receiver side, I mean, John Brown still had like 10 points PPR wise. Like I said, the wind was blowing 30 miles an hour plus the last 2 weeks. Hopefully that's not there in Cleveland. I'll have to check the weather report. But, I mean, you're still starting John Brown. Cole Beasley, I mean, he's kind of...
He's
been pretty PPR safe as well too, and he scored a couple times as of late as well too. So I don't mind either of these guys in this matchup.
Yeah, 9, 13, 10 the last 3 starts. Not
For
bad.
Cole Beasley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In full point PPR.
Let's just rewind to John Brown. He's wide receiver 18 in PPR leagues right now, and he hasn't scored
needs to
less.
be owned.
He hasn't scored less than 9.5 PPR points. So it's like you're getting a minimum of 10 each and every single week with John Brown.
Yeah.
So his own percentage finally jumped up to about like 80% from like 55 or whatever. So
And hopefully that wind, like I said, that wind's not blowing. Maybe they can take some deep shots for a change because it's been like brutal as far as the wind goes.
Here's a guy who's like wide receiver 18, and he's a guy who probably didn't get drafted in a ton of leagues.
Unless I was in your league.
Yeah, unless
I love John Brown.
or unless you're Mike and then you drafted for him. He gets so mad when I say that every time, dude. He gets so mad.
Right. You had to wait. You waited until I stood up so I couldn't fucking say something. You're such a little pussy, dude. God.
So yeah, John Brown, you're down
Not
him up.
fucking
John
work.
Brown is a set it and forget it for me. If I have John Brown, he's my wide receiver 2, flex wide receiver 3. Like, I'm not even taking him out of my lineup every single week. And then Cole Beasley, like you said, a guy you can just throw in there and you know what you're gonna get from him.
What's his wide receiver rank, by the way, Cole Beasley? It's probably in the 30 range
I'll tell
in
you.
PPR.
He's
Rookie?
like
Like 35?
39.
Ah, it's close.
Yeah, I was about to say
35,
the
39 's
complete
close.
wrong number.
All right. Dawson Knox, any interest?
Knox.
Knox.
Next.
Hey, Jinx.
Fucking little bitch.
Buffalo's defense?
I mean, you're playing against Baker Mayfield. I'll take any defense playing against Baker Mayfield.
Sounds about right. I'm in on that. Next matchup.
Yeah, Bill. I think yeah. Yeah, we
Oh,
don't
sorry,
gotta
Mike.
we don't gotta sit here and talk about that.
Echo off each other.
Yeah, right. Here's some more stats. Oh, here's some more stats. Sometimes we do that. But you know what? We spend the
It's just
time
we
to
like
get you
you
the
guys.
statistics. We want to give them to you,
Yeah,
okay?
sometimes they're interesting. So sometimes they're not.
Okay, let's talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are playing in Tampa Bay against the Arizona Cardinals. Let's start on the Bucs side of things.
I think next year I'm gonna dress up for Halloween as a Buccaneer, and people are like, "Are you a pirate?" I'm like, "No, I'm a Buccaneer." What the fuck's the difference?
You're like, dude, you've been a pirate, bro. You've been a
Like-
pirate the past like 4 Halloweens.
This year I'm a Buccaneer. You're wearing the same shit as last year.
No. Put a football.
Do you see
helmet
his mustache?
on. So stupid.
Tampa Bay Bucks. Jameis Winston, fire him up. I mean, he could always Jameis it, but I mean, Arizona's pass defense, I think, is they dead last.
They're pretty bad.
They're in
And
the
even
bottom
with Patrick
three.
Peterson back, he hasn't really made a difference.
No,
in that.
he's like we were talking about when they were playing the Niners. Like, dude, he's getting torched.
Yeah.
Highest over under of the week.
Yeah, I'll take some Jameis Winston all
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, I mean, so correlate that with you're starting your Godwins. You're starting your Godwins. I mean, he sometimes counts for 2 players.
Yeah, seriously.
So does Mike Evans. Sometimes he counts for 2 players too.
For sure.
Ronald Jones. I mean, he's supposed to get the start in this matchup. You know, when he's gotten the work. To his credit, he looks a lot better this year than he did last year, and he's put up some decent numbers when he's gotten the workload. So he's, I don't mind him as an RB2. Knocking on wood that if you're starting him, he actually gets to start, and Bruce Arians holds true to his word. Which, as of so far, I feel like he's held true to his word, and he's not like one of those coaches that plays games. So I'm okay firing Ronald Jones up as like an RB2 this week.
Yeah. Let's just play the kind of comparison for Ronald Jones. Like, would you play Ronald Jones, or are you playing like one of these Detroit Lions running backs?
Jones.
Ronald Jones or Joe Mixon?
Was that a you agree too?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Who are they playing again?
They're-
Baltimore? No,
they're home.
Jones.
I'm probably going Ronald Jones for the high over under right there.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because Joe Mixon's pretty good, but just a bad situation there.
Yeah.
You got Joe Mixon or Miami Dolphin, Kalen Balaj.
Joe Mixon or Kalen
I
Balaj?
mean, Ronald Jones or Kalen Balaj.
Ronald Jones over Kalen Balaj. Piggyback that
Ronald
too.
Jones.
I go Joe Mixon over Balaj.
Joe Mixon.
No. He's
I know, but I'm just saying
But
because it
you're
was
saying
thrown
that's
out
what
there.
you're
I
saying.
was like, which is bro, fucking roll with it.
just
Yeah,
roll
yeah.
with it, dude.
Roll with the punches, bro.
We just start comparing all these running backs that we're not.
But
even
like he
talking-
accidentally said it, but I was like, that's actually not a bad question. But I'm gonna go Mixon.
Mixon, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I was just curious to kind of see what where you're ranking Ronald Jones amongst some of these other running backs here.
Right.
Tight end OJ Howard. Could this be the game? It's been bad, but Arizona is the worst team. They've given up. I was looking at the other day. They give up like the most catches, the most pass attempts, the most yards, and the most like touchdowns to tight ends in the entire league. If he can't get it done this game, he's forever dead to me. Forever.
There's an 80% chance he might be forever
Bruce
dead.
Arians is like, well, they're gonna expect us to throw the tight end, so we're gonna
make
not
him-
throw it to
We're
the
gonna
tight
make him
end.
block even more.
We'll put the backup tight end, and he'll get 2 touchdowns.
Okay, here's my logic on this. Could be stupid logic, it could be smart logic. We'll find out. I don't think OJ Howard's not going to score a touchdown all year.
Mike Williams said, "Hold my beer."
It's still only week 10, dude.
It's still in week 10.
got
So if OJ
6 more
score
weeks.
Howard ends the year with 1 touchdown, I'm gonna bet it's gonna be this game against the Cardinals, where it's like Tyler just said. I mean, 785 yards, 9 touchdowns to the. I mean, if you take their stats against the tight end, they're like a top 7 wide receiver.
Yeah, they're
Like,
just giving it
80
up to
targets,
tight
62
ends.
receptions, 785 yards, 9 touchdown. Bro, that's like a 14.7. That's like a top 10 receiver.
Yeah.
So if I'm gonna peg anything on one of the games, like I said, this is probably could be dumb logic. It might not be, but I'm playing the probability game that this is the game he scores or does something. If there
52
is,
point over under, so the highest over under.
yeah, if there is a game, it's my bet is this game. So I'm pretty much whatever I have him because I drafted him in a few leagues. I'm kind of just rolling him out there this week.
Yeah. I mean,
Kinda
if
saying fuck it.
I mean 6 teams on a bye, like if you're a team who you don't have a tight end, there's no one out there, and he's out there. Would you suggest going to pick him up?
Would
and
you
throw him out
play?
there?
Would you play Jonnu Smith or OJ Howard?
OJ.
I mean, for me, the talent we've seen what he can do, especially in this like vertical passing offense here. In the matchup being that the Cardinals just give it up more than any tight end, I would rank OJ Howard in the top 10. He'd probably be like 8, 9, 10-ish
That's
ranked.
not that crazy of a call. I mean,
But I mean, it's
No.
like I'm definitely playing him this week.
regular OJ Howard on a different, like, I don't know, without Bruce Arians on this
I mean,
matchup,
we'd be
he'd
talking about a
fucking-
different light. Like if
You
he
know what I'm
was,
saying? Like, so
Yeah.
that's not like that crazy of a.
Yeah.
I mean, like if he was in
He'd
Darren
be-
Waller's situation, he'd be, probably similar to
Right.
what Waller's numbers are. It's just, he's in Bruce Arians' system, and
Yeah.
it's no good.
Bruce Arians like, what's a tight end? What is that? He's like reviewing tape. Who's this big guy?
Bro, that's a 6th lineman. Okay, that's not a tight end. What the fuck are you guys talking about over here? All right,
Receivers. We talked
yeah,
on that.
there's one.
Yeah, we did. Sorry.
Defense,
No.
No.
probably nice. The highest over unders here. So.
Yeah. We roll over to Arizona side. Kyler Murray. I mean, Tampa Bay's. I think they're worse than Arizona through the air.
Yeah, they're really stingy on the ground. The Buccaneers, they're one of the best run defenses in the league, but then they just give it up through the air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so I guess we could just transfer right over to the running back position.
Yeah, Kyler Murray lighting it up.
Yeah, your confidence in David Johnson slash.
I don't know. Kenyon. Oh.
It's David Johnson and
Drake!
There we go.
Oops.
Drake!
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
It's okay. Okay.
You just like lobbed that up to me, and I'm just like staring at it.
David Johnson.
What is that?
Oh, guys.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's-
David Johnson is 100% playing.
Do you? Okay, he's also. We had a full participation. David Johnson play like 1 snap a couple of weeks ago, so I don't know how much I trust that.
But I know he's been practicing, I think, in full, right? If
Yeah,
I'm
but
correct.
that's what I'm saying is that he did that like 3 weeks ago, and then Chase Edmonds had a 3 touchdown game.
Did he practice in full that week?
Yep.
Oh, you might be right. I can't remember.
Yeah, it was like 2 the Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah.
But I feel a little bit more comfortable now with him. I mean,
I do feel more comfortable,
They'll
but
actually
it
play.
is
I'm
sketchy
just
though.
curious how they split the workload because I
Right.
can't imagine Kenyon Drake having just this monster game against the Niners, who were a pretty stingy run defense, and then all of a sudden him being like, "All right, dude, like good job for one game, like sit on the bench." So I definitely think that he's going to get incorporated somehow.
I mean, I think he probably just takes Chase Edmonds' role, which was about 30% on average. That's why I made that. My finger stuck and pulled the screen off. But it was like 70% David Johnson roughly and 30% Chase Edmonds. I think him coming back and the way Jake played, you could see a 65-35. Now the question is with the stingy run defense, but we did see Chris Carson kind of go for over 100 against them last week. So
Yeah.
is there some injuries we haven't noticed or paid attention to? That's always possible. I think it's going to be a little bit. I mean, I'd probably have a little bit of hesitation with Drake this week. I think I'm still rolling David Johnson out because he's going to be the one and get the majority of the snaps, but. Just knowing what Tampa Bay's done to a lot of running backs minus last week, it's kind of making me hesitant with Drake. Still rolling David Johnson out as like a 2, but Drake's someone I'm kind of a little hesitant with. But I don't think he's going away, like you said. I just don't know how much upside there is this week, given they could kind of shut them down a little bit through the ground.
Yeah. I mean, the Bucs' run defense has been super stingy. I mean, they've pretty much blanketed McCaffrey twice, and we've seen what he's been able to do on a week-to-week basis. I mean, like Kamara, Saquon Barkley, like all these big-name elite running backs, they've just been basically shut them down. They're actually giving up the fewest yards per game, only giving up 78 yards per game on the ground. And they're giving up the second lowest yards per carry at 3.4. I mean, the only thing I could say is that they are giving up the second most passing yards, so maybe that could be good, some dump-offs to the running backs, like Drake and David Johnson out of the backfield. But they're giving up a ton of passing yards to the wide receivers and tight ends. They're giving up the third fewest receptions and the fourth fewest yards when it comes to the running back position. So it's just an ugly matchup for the running backs here, and not knowing what the workload is going to be split. It's just tricky because there's going to be a lot of people out there who have Drake, and they're going to throw him in their lineup, not even thinking twice about it after that game he had.
Yeah.
But it's like, what do you do if you have Drake? With 6 teams on a bye?
I mean, let's go to some of these tough. I mean, Ronald Jones or Drake? I'm going Jones easily.
I guess with the volume that Jones, if Jones is going to see 15-plus touches, I'll probably lean Jones.
I would go Drake just because I fucking hate playing Bucs running backs.
I'm torn.
I would go Drake. I would go Drake because
right
I have David Johnson, and I don't trust David Johnson with that, and I don't like Bucs running backs. So that's kind of like maybe kind of an emotional pick, but that's where I'm going with it.
Yeah. I'm torn between the middle. I mean, like Drake or Kalen Ballage.
Drake. PPR, Drake. Standard.
Drake.
You guys just don't like Kalen Ballage, too.
He's just not very good. He's
not
a plunger.
I told that, I was like, I'm starting. I was like, the one thing I'm banking my head on is like if they give him a lane, he gets going, he can go, and he won't be caught. He'll pull a Derrick Henry for like 70 yards. So that's what I'm hoping for.
Right.
Yeah,
I'd
probably. What about Drake or like one of the Lions running backs?
Maybe.
Drake. I think I'm going Drake.
I think I'll go Drake. I think it could be a little different. No, these guys aren't going to score. It's a Bears defense. Drake.
Drake.
It's kind of an ugly week with all the buys.
What about Drake or Kareem Hunt?
Drake.
Drake. This is a tricky one. I have Drake in only one league, but I have a pretty good depth at the running back position, so I don't have to worry about playing him because I have some pretty good starters. But I know there's going to be some teams out there who are debating, or they're throwing him in the lineup, and he's either going to put up a good game for you, or he's going to put up a terrible game for you.
It's going to be a 4 carries, 2 catches for 20 total yards.
Yeah, I just hate dealing with that kind of scenario there. So it'd just be interesting to see how they split the workload.
I mean, just kind of like touch on Ronald Jones. I mean, I'm just kind of looking at his game log real quick. Like when he's gotten over 10 carries, 14 for 80, and then another 41 through the air, 19 for 70, another 12 through the air. 11 for 35, 77 was okay game. 18 for 67 last week, 2 for 15. So when he's getting those carries and that workload, he's putting up some pretty decent numbers. So just kind of just to kind of retouch on his numbers a little bit. Yeah.
Wide receivers over here, you got Christian Kirk and Larry Fitz. I mean, Larry Fitz is kind of fallen off the edge.
Yeah, he hasn't done much.
I don't know.
It's like Kyler Murray's like, dude, you're too old for me,
Maybe he just like woke up one morning. He was like, fuck, I'm old. It's finally hit me.
You know what he needs?
Testosterone.
That's what he needs. He needs some fucking TRT, dude.
I mean, how comfortable you feel playing these guys? I know Kirk has been. I think it was like Mike Williams was the most targeted guy without a touchdown, and then Christian Kirk was the second guy. I think it was like 52 targets, 0 touchdowns so far in the year. So he's kind of maybe due in a high 52-point over/under.
I mean, I feel like they're both due for at least 8 to 10 point floors in this game, with given the matchup. And like you pointed out, tough against the run, tough against top pass catching running backs. There's not really a tight end. They do have like the nicest matchups, like Pro Football Focus. I think if you're gonna cornerback, so
I think if you're gonna play these two guys, this is the week to play them.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
I
I,
mean,
think one of them could have a really big game, as both of them could have.
If
nice
I had to
games.
guess, I would say Christian Kirk, but I have Larry Fitzgerald in like 2 leagues, and I think I'm going to play him this week.
Yeah. I like Christian Kirk this week. Larry Fitz is kind of the name, Larry Legend. I mean, they should be trailing, I guess, which you're saying a high over under. So I mean, the opportunity's there for him to have a big game.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah.
Arizona's defense.
I mean, you're rolling the dice on whether or not it's just like how we always say against Jameis Winston. You're rolling the dice whether he's going to throw interceptions,
Negative.
but
Yeah,
I
feel like
don't think
probably
it's
in
going to
the-
be this week.
I don't think it's going to be this week either. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess we can move on to the next matchup then. Get the New
Yeah,
York
it's-
versus New York Giants versus Jets.
Don't they both play at MetLife?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
So it's like
So
a
is
home.
that really a
it's
home
a home
game?
and away game for
Yeah.
both of them. The Giants side of the ball, Danny Dimes hasn't really been slanging that dick, but maybe he gets some extends this week against the Jets.
He needs a fucking
I don't like it.
delivery.
I'd rather start like a Tannehill or, I mean, if a Jacoby Brissett, and if he actually plays, I'd rather play Jacoby Brissett over him.
Brian Hoyer.
Question
That
mark?
one's maybe where I'm, cutting the edge if Brian's
Yeah.
Brian Hoyer, but
Yeah.
I mean,
Kyle
so kind
Allen.
of more two-back quarterback league. You're not really looking at him as a QB1, so pretty much to this point.
yeah.
Saquon Barkley, is that
The Wolverine.
Obviously.
Golden Tate, pretty good matchup for him. You're starting him.
Yeah, I think
Golden
he has-
Tate's been pretty decent lately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should have had a touchdown.
He had a dope ass catch in the last game too.
He's had a couple dope catches.
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
He's like one of those receivers that's just kind of under the radar. He doesn't like ever. I mean, somewhat. Don't you think he's a little bit underrated?
Yeah, I feel like he's like his name is like he's a good NFL receiver.
Right.
Like he's had plenty of like hella good years and whatnot. But yeah, no, I agree with you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I think you light those guys up. Sterling Shepard dead or what?
Possibly.
I'm not sure what's going on right now. I'm looking it up.
Yeah, I think he's on. I think they're looking to put him in IR.
Yeah. He's
He brain down.
it's unlikely for him to return to practice this week. He's had like no activity, so yeah, I wouldn't expect for him to go, and that kind of just maybe boosts my confidence in Golden Tate a little bit more going forward, especially with no
Yeah.
Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram's going to be ruled out as well, so
Yeah.
got to throw the ball to somebody. Obviously, Barkley's going to get those little dump offs. Golden Tate's probably going to get his. What about like a Darius Slayton or like a Cody Lattimore, like a sneaky guy? There are 6 teams on a bye.
Latimer actually has been doing pretty decent lately. He's been more and more involved, I should say. Not decent fantasy wise, but he's been less
He
hidden.
played 11 snaps last week.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I think I'd probably rather go get like an AJ Brown or like Cole Beasley's probably on the
Yeah,
waiver wire.
I'd
I'd rather go
rather
get one of
guys.
those guys instead of throwing
Yeah, I'm
one
not.
of
really
those other
fucking-
receivers.
I'm not messing with them.
I just like Latimer because he gave me money once.
So and
Giants defense.
Evan Ingram, he's out. We said so. Yeah,
Yeah.
Giants defense.
I like him this week.
Yeah.
I like him.
I mean, Sam Darnold's a turnover machine. That was one of the things when he was coming out of college. I just didn't understand how people were so high on this guy when he had like 22 picks or like 22 turnovers in college, and it's like when you're coming to the NFL, the game is only going to get faster and the competition is only going to get harder. And when he was in college, playing in not even he wasn't like he was in the SEC or the Big Ten. He was playing in the Pac-12, which is, I don't want to discredit the Pac-12, but it's compared to the SEC and some of these other conferences in college, it's the level of competition is not even remotely close to, like the other conferences. So for him to throw 22 picks or 22 turnovers, I can't remember what it was in college, I just didn't think he would roll over and translate to be a good NFL quarterback, and then all of a sudden just be able to take care of the ball. So with that being said, Giants.
And with that being said, are you starting Sam Darnold?
Nah, he's dead to me. After
Me
I
either.
couldn't get it done against Miami.
I
I mean,
know
we're
who's
Miami
there.
fans. We know how bad that defense is. Like you said, there's players on there. We're diehard Miami Dolphin fans. We know like everybody. But when we're watching the game, they'll say players, and I'll be like, "Who the fuck is that?"
They're like, and a random fan from the stand.
Try it out this week. He made the team
It's like that fucking Eagles movie.
for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that offense is probably mostly dead to me in general, the Jets. I'm just not. Sam Darnold, no. Le'Veon Bell. What was his injury reports today?
I don't think he practiced again. But you just got to monitor it. They're saying the knee injury is not serious. There's no structural damage, so he's kind of trending in the right direction. But you never know. If you have him, go grab like a Ty Montgomery or a Bilal Powell.
Paul.
Yeah.
Bilal
Yeah, go grab one
Powell.
of those
I
guys.
saw someone who has Le'Veon Bell, and he has both Ty Montgomery and Bilal Powell, which is kind of smart. It's a deeper bench, so it's like you're backing it up.
Yeah.
I mean, we put a dollar bid on Bilal Powell, and if they're both out, I mean, he's gonna get the workload.
We've seen Bilal Powell put up
Yeah.
some pretty good games. You know, he can run, he can catch.
Yeah,
That's
it
a
was
massive
when-
game
you know
for
what
us,
it-
like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It was when wasn't it him and Isaiah Crowell last year? It was kind of like going back.
Yeah,
and
it
forth.
was 2 years ago where he had like monster games in the set,
Right.
like 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah, down the stretch.
You get like 10 catches a game and like 20 plus carries.
Yeah.
And like it happens every year. Like these names that come out of nowhere, where it's like some people get hurt and they have a few big weeks. Like last year was Justin Jackson and Damian Williams were winning people championships.
For sure.
But like
yeah.
these running backs come in for weeks, or I don't think it's a season long, but it happens.
Blah blah
Blah blah.
blah.
So yeah, just
blah.
monitor the Le'Veon Bell situation. Like I said, if you have him, go to your waiver wire right now. See if Ty Montgomery's there. If not, see if Bilal Powell's there. Just kind of cover your ass in case something does happen to Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah. Receiver position, I'm not trusting Robbie Anderson. And a PPR, I'll start Crowder.
I mean, PPR Crowder, I definitely down him up. I'm actually not mad at starting Robbie Anderson this week. The Giants' corners have been pretty bad. I know on Pro Football Focus, both of them. I think DeAndre Baker, the rookie out of Georgia, and then Janoris Jenkins, they've both been really bad. And Robbie Anderson's kind of one of those guys, like, he's a home run guy. So like, if he doesn't put up a monster game, it's kind of what it is. But then he can go out there and get you like 3 catches, 140 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if just depending on your lineup and what you have, like in one of my leagues, actually 2 of my leagues, I'm just kind of swinging for the fences. You know, one of the leagues, you get if you're the highest scorer, you get a $100 bonus in that league. So throw him in my lineup because, you know, for the potential for him to go out there and get a 50-yard bomb and, you know, put up a monster 20, 25-plus point game, you know, I'll take the shot on that, especially when the Giants' pass defense isn't anything to, you know, shy away from. Want to do a beer bet?
What?
No, I'm not starting him. I just don't trust that offense at all. And what I've seen with Sam Darnold for 2 weeks,
Yeah.
he's a Chris Davis. He might hit 167, but when he hits that home run, he'll hit it, and could happen. But I'm not gonna bet it. Like take the chance. But
He's that guy where like you throw him in your lineup and she shits the bed and you're like, fuck Robbie Anderson. And then you put him on your bench and then he goes off and he'll have like 2-3 touchdowns. And
I don't think it's his fault.
No.
It's not. I'm not talking bad about Robbie Anderson. It's just
You're like more talking about the offense.
yeah. It's more about that GoFundMe that started up. And the offense and Sam Darnold. It's not like I think Robbie Anderson's a good receiver. It's not him. It's just, I mean, seeing how bad Sam Darnold's missing him, just seeing him see Ghostbusters and Ghost back there. It's just it's just not a pretty situation for them. And like I said, I'd rather like it could happen, but I'd rather just steer elsewhere.
He's a boom bust. He's the ultimate boom bust guy.
Yeah, Chris Davis.
Yeah.
Chris Herndon.
Make a
Chris
baseball
Herndon?
reference.
Another Chris.
Bezos references.
Chris Herndon.
You heard my feelings on him earlier.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Anthony on this one. I kind of want to see it. I definitely think going forward though, like, because we've seen Ryan Griffin get incorporated pretty well in this offense, and you know, I think once Herndon comes back, he's obviously going to be that receiving tight end, not Ryan Griffin. You know,
right?
Ryan Griffin's obviously a decent tight end, but Herndon is a legit like wide receiver tight end type of player. So I just kind of want to see how much he gets incorporated. It's his first game back, so maybe they kind of ease him into it. They split the snaps, but
see, I'm in a spot where I have Chris Herndon, and I have Evan Ingram, and I've been waiting for Chris Herndon to do something so I could maybe trade him or do something with him. And it was a perfect situation. Evan Ingram being out, I'm gonna fucking throw him in. I'm not like super psyched on it, but I think if you're in that kind of situation with tight end, maybe. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Ryan Griffin kind of be used in the red zone too. You know, kind of like a red zone short pass. Like you said, when the quarterback's not that good, he tends to lean on the tight end.
Yeah.
No, I mean it can. I mean, I think Griffin had a decent game last week. Like he had like
you're rolling the dice with it. Is what we say. You know, you're taking you're gambling with it.
Yeah, definitely.
Sometimes you gamble and it pays off.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Dude,
it doesn't.
I love gambling.
Yeah.
Just
Play the
kidding.
slots, bro.
Yeah, fuck, I hit a spinner.
Just defense.
Nah.
We go on to the New Orleans Saints and the Atlanta Falcons. I had to think for a second what their name was. The Saints side of the ball, you got Drew Brees against. I keep saying that I think they're the worst pass defense, but I feel like there's like 4 teams that are like, depending on who gives up more points the week before, they're the worst pass defense.
Well, I look at the Giants, I look at the Falcons, I look at the Cardinals, I look at the Bucks, kind of all similarly, and Bengals,
Miami.
Well, not even really.
I think Miami's actually been better than these teams.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I think it's because teams can run the ball on them, so they're just
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
they're having balanced success.
Balance. Okay. Kind of
know
like
what
the
I mean?
Bucks. Like you can't run on them. You can just throw on them.
Yeah.
Miami's like you just
You
hit
like-
them.
you
You,
just-
you
it
hit
doesn't
body
matter.
shots.
You
You hit haymakers.
it doesn't
like,
matter.
whatever,
You're
dude.
getting it
Just,
all.
You're getting it all. But
You go into the boxing ring, just standing there, just taking everything.
Good doing.
yeah, so New Orleans side of the ball, Drew Brees, you're down them up at home too. You know,
Yeah.
always in the Superdome, you're down them up.
Kamara, start him.
Yeah, it's looking like he's gonna make his return. So I mean, if he's on the field, he's in my lineup.
I think he could still flex Latavius Murray.
Yeah, I
You know,
think so
his-
too.
His first week back, Kamara, maybe they dial him back a little bit, still give Latavius Murray a role. I mean, he to his credit, he looked good in the 2 weeks, or 2 or 3 weeks, whatever it was that he played. I mean, I think that he still has a role. Would you go with, okay, so here's like similar situation, different offense. Would you go with Latavius Murray or Kenyon Drake?
Latavius Murray, because I feel like he can fall into when they get close, they could give him the ball.
Yeah, same here. Mike?
What?
Never mind. All right. Kidding. Latavius Murray or Kenyon Drake?
Drake.
What about Latavius Murray or Ronald Jones?
Murray. I will not, dude. I do not want to play.
I'm
Bucks
pretty
running
high on
back.
Jones this week,
My
apparently.
dad every
I
year.
think I'm gonna lean with. I think I'm gonna go Jones on this one.
Dude, my dad every year gets somehow ends up with a fucking Buccaneers running back, and he's like, "Should I drop him on it?" I look at him and I go, "Yes, drop that motherfucker, dude." I just don't like it. I mean, watch in a couple of years they're gonna end up having good running backs, and I have the stupid stinge against them, and I'm gonna lose. But
They're gonna have like
That's
the
why-
next they're gonna have like the next Saquon. I'm not taking him.
that's why we have a balance here, dude.
Yeah, dude,
it's
balance,
it's
bro.
a triangle.
Oh, the name
Oh,
is
if
like
I
a
wrong,
serotonin.
they right. Yeah.
I mean, the spread is New Orleans minus 13 at home. So, Vegas is suggesting that they're going to be in a healthy lead. So, I mean, if they're up, it's a 51-point over under too. So a lot of points being projected to be scored here. I mean, if they're have the lead and they're just kind of running the ball,
Yeah,
take control of the clock.
could
Yeah,
just put
he
Murray
could
in
he
there.
could see still 10 to 12 carries,
They
maybe
could
a
have
couple catches out of
10
the
fourth
backyard.
quarter carries.
Yeah, for sure,
And those carries sometimes are big play carries because the team's out of it.
for sure.
Michael Thomas just starting.
Yeah.
That's pretty much
Guy's savage.
Yeah, I'm playing him and I'm scared for my life.
Really? Really?
I am like petrified of what he might do.
Yeah. What about? I mean, doesn't really know the receiver there. Are you starting like again or?
Yeah, I'm not really. Again? No. Jared Cook, I think he's supposed to be back this week. Are you interested in him, or is it just nah?
Are you
I mean,
interested in Dawson Knox?
It's in a high 51 point over under. They're at home. If he's playing, it might be slim pickings. I mean, you starting at Herndon or Jared Cook?
Herndon.
I'm starting Jared Cook.
Yeah, go Cook.
I mean,
Oh, you
starting
silly
Jared
boys.
Cook or Jonnu Smith.
Cook. Junu Cook.
Jonnu Cook.
Junu Cook. I'm gonna be wrong on one and right on one.
Yeah, I got one for you.
Nice.
Sorry, it took me a second to find that. I was trying to look that up, and Anthony's like, "What do you think?" And I'm like, "What?" Looking up the fucking Ghostbusters theme song.
The Cook and the Jonnu Smith one's kind of close. I mean, if Corey Davis didn't play, that would probably sway me towards.
Like your tiebreaker,
Yeah.
or if Cook doesn't play, because I think he's been on the
If
injury
Cook doesn't
report.
play, that's true. Yeah.
So yeah,
New Orleans defense at home.
yeah. I mean, Atlanta's been.
I'm not mad at it. The
Nah.
offensive line hasn't been anything great.
I've been
New
looking
Orleans
at their
at home. Is
I was looking at their
pretty
points,
stout.
which could I don't know because I feel like honestly I still don't know how defensive points score in some leagues.
Yeah.
I'll be like, I really fucking don't.
No, I
Yeah.
know what you mean.
I'll be like, oh, they got 4 in one league, but they got 15 in the other. I'm like, it doesn't even make sense.
No, yeah, for sure.
But the one league I was looking at, they've put up pretty decent points over the last like 3-4 weeks. Matt Ryan's been getting hit a ton. I think that's what led to his injury, didn't it?
Yeah.
And he's thrown his share of picks as well too. He's thrown for like 300 plus, but he'll throw 2 or 3 picks. So I'm not mad at New Orleans this week as a defensive start.
Nolans.
New Orleans. With that said, speaking of Matt Ryan, I mean, I know it's, like I said, Saints defense went better, but 300 yards, and I think every game he's played, minus the one he got hurt, which you kind of can't count that he got hurt, because I think Matt Schaub still threw for 100 and something, so it would have been 300. So you still dial him up, but you always do have to wonder that if he could get re-injured in this game, because I think he's, what was it, ankle?
His ankle hurts.
He is fin to play with his ankle. I mean, you got to always keep that in the back of your mind. What do you guys feel about Matt Ryan? Start him. Simple.
I mean, it's pretty. Yeah, I mean, I think prior to the last game, he had thrown for 300 plus yards in 6 or 7 straight games. I mean, when you have Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley's still a good talent. I mean, Hooper. I mean, even Devontae Freeman out of the backfield is still a pretty versatile back. I mean, minus 13, they should be chasing this whole game. So if they probably shouldn't be able to run the ball that much, especially with New Orleans being pretty stingy against the run as well. We could see Matt Ryan throw the ball 45 times this game, realistically.
Yeah, I think he's doing that every game.
Yeah.
Devontae Freeman, he's been pretty safe in PPR formats.
I think you got to. He's couple tough games the last couple weeks, but I mean, it's 6 teams on a bye. If you have Devontae Freeman, it'd be hard pressed unless you're like in an 8-man league or something.
Yeah,
it'd be hard pressed to sit him.
Yeah, I mean 23, 1.5, 9.2. So it's been a lot up and down. Yeah, it'd be like you said, especially with all the buys. I think it's gonna be hard to sit him this week.
Yeah.
Receiver side, Julio Jones. Julio. Uno, dos, tres.
Julio good.
You're starting Julio.
Even though he's got a small head, he's good, dude.
He does have a small head.
Proportion wise, dude, his head is fucking tiny, dog. I wish I had that small of a head, bro. These hats hurt my head. I get a fucking lump on it every day. Fuck, I got a tiny head, bro.
Sorry, someone take over.
That one got you, eh?
Oh, got me.
Maybe he needs more.
Testosterone.
They can't even see.
I fucking clowned your ass, dude. Every time I see him, I'm like, bro, that fucking peanut on your goddamn head. Or on your shoulders, I suppose.
Julio. Calvin Ridley. I mean, I don't mind him this matchup. I know the Saints have Lattimore's limiting number 1 receivers a little bit, in which return is kind of giving the number 2 receivers a little bit more of
Did PJ Williams get is he gone or what?
I don't know.
Is he a guy?
I was about to say, did he
I think
get
he's
fired?
sleeping with the fishes.
Well, because there was a couple times that like Larry,
it's Austin Carr in there now.
Yeah, because I was gonna say
Isn't Austin Carr a receiver?
I mean, yeah, looking at the wrong side, I was like, wait. He'd probably do a better job than PJ Williams.
Don't worry, we run a fucking fantasy football podcast.
Well, I was looking at the left side of it, and then as soon as I said it, I was like,
know. Trust me, I said way
it's
fucking
Chauncey
worse.
Gardner Johnson.
My
Say that again.
It's Chauncey Gardner Johnson.
Chauncey?
Sounds like he's got like 3 last names.
Yeah, no,
you know how
it
people got like
does.
3 first names? Like, he's got like 3 last names.
I think that reminds me of that Pokemon. Chauncey? The egg one? Okay, fuck you. You guys are older than me. You guys didn't play Pokemon.
That's the little pink one.
Yeah, with the
Yeah, see,
eggs.
bro. We had the old school
Dude,
first
don't
series
fucking
cards,
disrespect
right?
us like that.
I still have the shit in the attic.
Whoa, dude, take it easy. I have a Game
Dude,
Boy Color right here.
I used to trade
He
rape
does have a Game Boy Color.
all my brothers, all right?
Playing Pokemon, this little Asian kid at the gym, like you know how they have the little daycare area,
Yeah.
where you can
No, I don't have kids,
at
so-
the
Like
fitness.
I said, yeah, I don't even know.
No,
I'm just like, yeah.
the daycare
Like,
area.
yeah,
it's
fucking-
You know the daycare area at the gym.
pedophile alert.
Oh Jesus fuck, dude! Let me talk, goddammit. Nah, dude, you guys don't even get to hear it now.
Go tell us your daycare
All
story.
right, here we go. So, like, you remember the Game Boy Colors? You had the transfer cable and you could like play each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this fucking little Asian kid, dude, he hustled me. He was like, yeah, let's play. He's like, all right, I'll play. Like, let's battle, and my best Pokemon for your best Pokemon. And I was like, oh, sick, dude. I got like a Venusaur level 32, bitch. Let's fucking go. Yeah. This motherfucker hacked his Game Boy. He put like Game Shark or some shit on there. He had everything level 99. He had like a fucking Mew, a Mewtwo. He had all of it, bro. He just leveled my team in like fucking 1 hit each, just like pff, pff. All my Pokemon were just fainted, dude. And then I had to transfer in my Venusaur. I didn't even have my fucking Venusaur anymore.
Dude, and you're still traumatized by it.
Dog, it was fucking
12 years, 20 years later.
dude. It was
Fucking Venusaur.
bro. I was hyped.
Were you crying?
I was training that Venusaur forever, dude. I was out there training that
You should have
Venusaur.
found an Asian kid to hack your shit.
Dude,
Yeah.
he fucked. And so, dude, that's why, like, for a while,
Right,
like, when
so-
I met Rainer, I was like, dude,
Yeah,
I don't know.
dude,
Because
yeah.
I just,
even still, I'm like, Rainer.
yeah, me too, dude.
I think the moral of the story is here: don't trust little Asian kids with Game Boys.
Well, yeah.
Honest though, I should have known better, dude. But see, the thing is that my parents taught me about no prejudice. You know what I mean? So it's like
Well, I mean, you're Asian too, so it's kind of.
Yeah, you can't prejudice their kind. I mean, you can, but.
I just have almond eyes. That's all. Almond shaped
Wait,
eyes.
did you cry when you lost your Venusaur?
I probably did. I don't recall like tearing up, but most likely I probably fucking cried.
Did you go
If
home
I had to
like
guess.
punch the ground like no?
You just punched.
I
that
would just
little Asian kid.
I just felt so embarrassed because I just was like, dude, this kid like Like, I don't know why I was cocky. Like, it goes up to 99. Why did I take my 30? Like, I didn't even look at this guy's team at all.
1/3 of
Like,
the way.
yeah, like, I didn't even fucking, I don't know why. He kind of, I don't know. He, like, kind of, I don't know how I believed that I could beat him. I don't know. But,
He's like-
yeah, he fucking hustled.
He's
me,
like, do you want to trade Pokemon if you win?
Yeah, like he
He's
wasn't like a cocky like Italian kid. Like, hey, whatever, we're gonna fucking I don't know. He didn't come in with any confidence. So
I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, he's a little
Okay.
Asian kid. I was like, yeah, I think I'll fuck. You know, he's like the one Asian kid in Arizona. You know what I mean?
Anyways,
There's
all
like
right.
3 there. The fucking one of them took my goddamn Venusaur.
Mike's traumatized story.
Seriously. All right, so Calvin Ridley.
Do you think that's why he still has those plants?
You know what his name was? His name.
It reminds him of Venusaur.
Venusaur. And they keep dying.
They keep dying.
No, Venusaur.
Venusaur.
No, the
He
kid-
gets hella sensitive when something gets on his plant. What the fuck's this on my plant? My Venusaur. It's happening again.
It's happening again.
I like plants, dude. That's just a totally different thing. But the kid's name was Kyle, though. Yeah, it was me knocking him
cat.
out. 10 years later in high school.
Nice.
Yeah, bam. Fuck you.
Damn, he doesn't even have a podcast. We'll steal his podcast if he has
He
one.
probably does. It's probably has more subscribers too. Fucked up.
He's stealing all our subscribers right now.
Data transfer cable, bro.
Yeah.
Give me your Venusaur.
All right, so Calvin Ridley, dialing him up.
Yeah, I said.
I think so.
Yeah.
In a game where they should be behind, and if Matt Ryan throws the ball 40 plus times, I think, yeah, Calvin, and especially no Mohamed Sanu now, so that only opens up more targets for him
Yeah.
to get it done. And then Austin Hooper, he's the tight end one right now.
You're
You're
starting
starting
Hooper.
him. Falcons defense,
No.
definitely not. Last matchup of this episode right here, you got the Ravens. They're -10. They're traveling to Cincinnati. They're going to play the Andy Dalton-less Bengals and the A.J. Green-less Bengals. It's a 44.5 point over-under.
So they're missing red and green.
Yeah, Reading. Nice.
It's not Christmas in Cincinnati.
It is not,
It's Christmas in Baltimore.
Bro,
Especially
AJ.
for that defense.
for sure.
I think we talked about it. We're starting on the Bengal side.
Yeah, we're starting the Bengals.
Yeah, let's do it. Fuck it. Mix it up.
Bengal, bro. Bengal Tigers are scary. Anyways, not the team though. Yeah, wait. Who's gonna be their
I
quarterback?
forget his name. What is it? Ryan Foley?
Ryan
Philly?
Finley, I think it is.
Oh, Ryan Finry. Maybe he plays like the Finns. Not good.
Not dialing him up.
Yeah,
Not
let's not
dumb.
play. Let's not play Ryan
It'd
Finley.
be hard pressed, honestly, to play any Cincinnati Bengal in this
Yeah.
matchup. I mean, I guess Joe Mixon out of necessity. You got 6 teams on a bye. But even then, just some numbers on the Ravens defense. They're allowing the second fewest yards per game on the ground. They're only giving up 83 yards per game on the ground. And they're actually really stingy in terms of like pass catching running backs as well. You know, not giving up a ton through the air to the running backs or even a ton of receptions through the air to the running backs as well. So, I mean, if Mixon doesn't fall into the end zone, I don't think the yardage, like the total scrimmage yardage or like the receptions, if you're in a PPR league, is really going to boost anything there. He might not even get over 10 points.
Yeah, the only reason, the one way I see Mixon having a decent game, and this is just decent, is you see a lot of dump offs to him via the quarterback position, just
Yeah.
trying to help him like get game speed going. Where it's like, okay, screen to Joe Mixon or like a dump off to Joe Mixon, swing pass, and kind of using him. That's the one way.
Little dump off, chain movers.
Yeah,
kinda.
and maybe you see like a 6 or 7 catch game from Joe Mixon, which in a PPR would be a pretty good game. That's the kind of the one way I see him having a decent game.
I mean, if
and maybe
I'm-
he manages 10, 12 carries on top of that.
Yeah.
I think there's plenty of situations where you can play Joe Mixon.
Yeah.
One being like if you went James Conner, Joe Mixon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's all right. Like I'm in a situation where I lost David Johnson, Kerryon Johnson, and James Conner, and I picked up Joe Mixon on the waiver somehow in our league, and I think I'm gonna light him up.
Light him up, bro.
Light
I
him
mean,
up.
yeah, 6 teams on a bye. Like I said, it'd be kind of hard to sit a Joe Mixon.
Yeah.
But
Right.
the matchup is just super tough.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I mean, we could pretty much.
PPR
I mean,
wise, I'm
Tyler
playing.
Boyd.
I'm not trusting anybody. I hate to say it, but it's like,
I mean,
I'm
they
playing
have
AJ
some
Green.
good DBs over there. I mean, you got Marlon Humphreys. They traded for Marcus Peters, Jimmy Smith. Yeah, I mean, you got Earl Thomas in the secondary, Brandon Carr in the secondary. Yeah, I'm nervous.
I'm playing AJ Green,
so is Ryan Finley. He said that.
even though he's out.
Yeah, so AJ Green, just some news on him. You know, it was looking like he was going to make his season debut this week. You know, he said everything was on track for him to play, and then it kind of came out. I guess he had some soreness in the ankle, kind of swelled up, and now he's out indefinitely, which we don't even know what that means. It's like he's day to day.
No, he has swelling in the back of his brain and the decision making. He just decided he doesn't want to play. That's what it is.
I mean, but he's playing for a contract in a
Well,
sense.
sure,
you know,
but-
he doesn't want to get franchise tagged. You know, so I'm kind of thinking maybe this is just a bad game for him to come back to.
Right,
You know, maybe
that's-
I don't want to come back and play against the Ravens with a rookie quarterback or like a backup quarterback. Let's maybe throw me in next week when we play against the Dolphins or you know or
Right.
someone lesser. So I can actually go out and showcase my talents. Because even if AJ Green played this game, I don't know how confident I would feel having him in my lineup. So this might be a blessing in disguise if you have AJ Green.
But he wants to play against Oakland.
Yeah, instead because if he's out there, you probably
Next
were holding on to him for 10 weeks. You know, you would probably throw him in your lineup, and if he goes out there and he gets you 2 for 26, you would have been pissed. So this could be a blessing in disguise that he didn't play this week. But just monitor it. I'm kind of concerned if you know in the next couple days or maybe next week they kind of just shut him down completely and they just throw him on IR, season-ending IR. So I mean we'll see what happens with it right there. But I mean if you have AJ Green.
A lot of people are dropping him. Like I'm getting alerts saying, "Hey, this many people have dropped this guy."
Yeah.
I still wouldn't drop him.
I mean, yeah, if I had him, unless I'm
You
in a
draft-
super pinch.
I mean, you drafted him for the most part.
Yeah,
I
you're
can't.
holding him for 10 weeks.
Yeah, you held him this long. Just fucking hold. The frustrating thing about it too is like you can't even throw him on your IR.
Yeah.
Because I've done it where he's doubtful or he's out, and you could put him on the IR, but then the next week he's questionable again, and then you have to fucking move people around and drop 2 people and ends up.
Yeah.
So it does get a little bit frustrating to hold on to him. So I would just keep him on the bench spot so you don't run into that problem.
So what about a scenario where I know there's a lot of buys this week? Actually, one of the guys I'm playing this week, he's got a ton of buys, and he had AJ Green in his lineup, and even then he still had 2 spots left where he couldn't fill up. So it's like, do you by then do you drop AJ Green, or you just say like, all right, I'm just gonna bite the bullet this week and take the L? And
if you're
'cause
in-
I don't want to lose AJ Green and the potential that he has. I'd rather just take the L this week.
Depending on your record, I mean, like if you're a negative record, I would drop him maybe. But if you are kind of positive, or like say you're second or third, I might just take the L. Especially if you're playing like, and also look at your matchup. If you're playing against like the number 1 guy in your league, and you got a bunch of buys, like it's almost fuck. What are you gonna just pull something out of your ass? Probably not. And that's why I never really look at the bye weeks. I don't mind taking 1 L out of the week, out of the year. I'd rather do that than space that out, because sometimes you can have a running back like Ezekiel Elliott out the 1 week, and then Fournette the next week, and then your top receiver the next week, and then what?
I was like Chris Carson the next because I have that situation.
Right. Yeah. So I mean,
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah.
What about if you're like one of these better teams and you see a team who's struggling, or they're kind of like 4-5, 5-4, they're struggling to get in the playoffs, and they have AJ Green? Are you maybe trying to move someone you got so that they can start someone, and maybe you're trying to just get AJ Green on the low and kind of stash him?
That's
maybe,
not a bad
maybe like
move.
a strategy.
it's not a bad move, but I don't. If like gun to my head, if I had to put money down, I would say AJ Green probably won't play, at least the fantasy. Maybe in I don't know. Maybe on like even I think they play the Patriots in week 16. So even if he comes back or week 15, he plays the Patriots.
Yeah. So it's just gross.
You know. Yeah.
I mean, I cut AJ Green in a league. So that's me.
Yeah. It's not that unreasonable to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a short bench. I'm not holding him.
Yeah.
I honestly, there's a chance he doesn't even play all year. So
Yeah, that's
I think that's a real possibility.
That's what I was also going to say. Is like there's a really high chance that he's not going to play.
Yeah.
So, there's a half. I would say it's 50-50 at this point.
Yeah, and I mean, like it's like there's like 5 of us who are like 5-4. So it's like we're all fighting for like top seed, and it's only 4 teams make the playoff in the 10-team league. So it's like I'm not holding a roster spot.
Yeah.
So it's
Right.
like,
I feel that.
if he comes back and does something in week 13, 14, it is what it is. I'm not really burning spots at this point.
You're
Holding
okay
him is
with
going to
it.
hurt my team more than it's going to help my team.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah,
All right.
because what if you were able to pick up like Jalen Samuels a couple weeks ago, but you're holding AJ
Yeah.
Green?
Yeah.
Well, I picked him. I picked up Baltimore's D this week and dropped him. So it's like Baltimore's D could win me the week versus where AJ. If I didn't drop AJ Green and started another defense, it's like could take an L, which could potentially cost me a playoff. So it's like I'm like, yeah.
You just got to play the Lions defense this week. Very available. Okay.
Ravens side. Lamar Jackson.
I mean, Lamar Jackson is a human cheat code.
Yeah.
I mean, he does look really good. I saw a picture of the Ravens team all celebrating. It was like Ravens winning week 8, and it's like them all celebrating. And then it's a picture of Bill Belichick getting the AFC championship trophy, and he's just like this. And it's like Patriots winning the AFC championship. They don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
But you're all hyped on like winning fucking week 8 or week 9.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Lamar Jackson here, Donald. I
looked
think
good.
he's the QB1 on the year right now.
Yeah.
So you're definitely dialing him up. Mark Ingram, I feel like you're dialing him up. I think he's like top 5 in like carries inside the 5 and carries inside the 10. So when they get in close, he's getting the rock. What about the receivers here? Because Marquise Hollywood Brown was getting a ton of targets, and then I guess the tight end / receiver pretty much for them. Mark Andrews, those would be probably the only 2 guys you're really thinking about playing here. And what's your thoughts on those guys?
I love Mark Andrews.
One thing I've noticed where I want to pay more attention to this a little bit next year when we get into this part of the season, but I've started to do it, is players who perform in good matchups and don't in bad matchups.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that when it's a plus matchup, Mark Andrews has a good game. When it's an average to below average matchup, he's not having good games.
Yeah.
This is a good matchup.
Yeah.
So
It's almost like he's like there's
6 teams on a bye,
yeah,
too.
and it's like predictable too. And I was talking to someone in the Liquid League about this and about Mark Andrews, and I was like, you know what, he's kind of because we were discussing a tight end trade, and I was like, well, there's one thing that's about him. I was like, when you look at his matchups, I was like, the tough to below average matchups, he's having bad matchups. And I was like, the good matchups, he's having good games. And he's like, oh, that's bad. I was like, no, it's not good. Bad. That's good because you know when you want to play these guys.
Yeah.
And this is something I want to pay attention to going into like. It'll take a little bit more work on our end, but going into next year, maybe when we hit like a week 8 mark, week 9 where we are now, is like, okay, who's doing bad in bad matchups on paper and who's doing good in the good matchups? So it's more predictability to where it's like Jameis Winston, you don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Like bad matchups, good matchups, you don't know. But there are certain players and certain teams where I just happen to notice this with him is he's performing good in good matchups. Now he can make me eat my words this week, but up to this point, like the games he's supposed to do good, he's doing good. The games he's supposed to do okay to bad, he's just doing okay to bad. And so like
Steelers are kind of like that actually. Steelers match up really well against good teams, but then when we play bad teams, it's almost like we didn't.
I feel like it's been like that for years.
Yeah, but like it feels like we don't do any like preparation. We're like, oh, we're playing the Dolphins this week. Fuck it. I'm like it seems. That's what it seems like.
You ever notice how like any chance he can bring up the Steelers, he does?
Me?
Dude, yeah, we were listening to the podcast earlier downstairs, and we're like, yeah, the Raiders are 4-4.
No,
and
I stuck
out of
that
nowhere in the background, you just hear Steelers are 4-4.
I had to sneak that in, dude. That was fucking. It was just a joke. That was all that was.
Anyways, one thing I was thinking about with the whole Mark Andrews situation was like he had the 2 monster games, 100+ yards back to backs, week 1 and 2. But I think he played the Dolphins and then the Cardinals, and obviously the Cardinals are the worst against the tight end, and then Dolphins obviously not very good either. But I'm kind of curious if like teams know Lamar Jackson is going to run the ball more, so he's not going to throw the ball a ton. So maybe after those first 2 weeks of getting the game tape, they kind of notice like, okay, like if he doesn't run it, he leans on Mark Andrews. So if we can just like really keen in on Mark Andrews and kind of eliminate him, then it's kind of limiting who he throws the ball to. But just something I was kind of thinking about. But with 6 teams on a bye, I think you have to dial up Mark Andrews in this matchup.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson's passing yards at point.
His
But the rushing yards went, which is more valuable because it's like there's every 2.5. It's like 2.5.
He's like 460 yards rushing this year. He has like more rushing yards.
That's it? I thought he would have
I
more.
feel like he has more than that.
Yeah, he's got to have more than
He's
that.
got to have more.
That was before last
Look
week.
it up. You won't.
Okay.
What about Marquise Hollywood Brown?
He has 637.
637.
He ran 200.
I mean, dude, he's running wild. He's getting like 150 yards every
It's
game.
almost like his legs have chlamydia.
Yeah, because those legs are running rampant, baby.
Hollywood Brown. I mean, flex guy, wide receiver 3.
No. I don't like Marquise Brown.
I don't like it. Yeah.
If he was playing on any other
he's like
team,
another like Robbie
I
Anderson.
was
kinda
gonna say
guy.
I was literally gonna say Robbie Anderson and Marquise Brown.
Yeah, fast guys. Get the ball. Like all it takes is one play.
Anthony rather cut his dick off than fucking play one of those guys, huh? No, that's extreme.
That's a little extreme.
Yeah, chill, Mike.
But
Okay.
if I have to keep my jump
Yeah, dude,
SS Minnow
dude,
Johnson
yeah,
intact,
dude, why are you coming at him like that? He didn't steal your Venusaur.
Bro, you fucking steal my Venusaur, dude?
yeah, I'm on Mike's side. I'm not really. I'd rather find like the Beasleys. Of
They
the
could just be
world,
running all over him this game.
Yeah.
It could be a heavy.
I'd rather flex Jonnu Smith.
It's almost like I think one of the guys has a good game. Hollywood Brown or Mark Andrews. I can't imagine a scenario where both.
Yeah, I
have
mean
a
he's
good
throwing
game.
for about 150 to 200 yard tops. It's
And cut to Marquise Brown, double touchdown.
like, probably.
But is it one of those games where it's like, okay, they are playing the Bengals?
They might just run the ball a ton.
Yeah.
Gus
that's true.
Edwards maybe a
Yeah,
sneaky
you're right.
flex guy. He might get 10 carries in the
Oh,
goal line.
senor.
And the Ravens defense here, you're dialing them up. They're probably top
3 defense.
1 defense.
Top 1 defense. Yeah, this is being generous.
The Ravens are.
I spent I have $23 in fab, but I spent 18 of it on the Ravens defense.
Yeah.
Ravens are the horniest defense in the league right now.
Yeah, pretty good. Good schedule going down the stretch. You know, if the Ravens are there on your waiver wire for some reason, whatever, I'd go grab them. I think in weeks 14, 15, and 16, they got 3 juicy matchups.
Ravens are. Yeah.
They've been playing better as of late. They got Jimmy Smith back a few games ago. I
Yeah.
was looking at their points. It's been like, again, I don't know how scoring works, but it's been like double digits.
Kind of
like-
limited the Patriots offense,
Yeah.
and it's the Patriots.
I think it's been pretty much like double-digit points for 3 weeks straight, or close to double-digit points for 3 weeks straight.
Whoa.
So yeah, if they're on the waiver wire, I'd definitely go grab the Ravens defense and stash them.
And they could put up triple-digit points this week.
I'd start. Actually, if they're on the waiver wire, we'll get them starting this week.
Fuck it. Send it in.
Yeah, send it in.
Send it in.
All right, boys.
All right, we finished at 9:59.
We told you who to play. We told you who to fade. And this has been the Average Bros Fantasy Football Podcast.
We told you not to trust little Asian boys with
Yes.
Game Boys.
Yeah, if you see a little
If
Asian,
you'd like to start a GoFundMe for Mike's Venusaur, Lost Venusaur,
We should.
Venusaur?
we should start a GoFundMe for my fucking Venusaur, dude.
and
I haven't seen that
and
little
hunt down
boy.
that little Asian kid.
I haven't seen that little boy in a long
Watch
time.
him be like 6'8", just fucking massive.
It was Yao Ming,
His
actually.
his name was Yao.
It's Yao Ming's kid. Thank you for listening. This has been the Average Bros Fantasy Football Podcast, episode 40, matchups part 1. Like I said, if you want to hear us cover any of those other afternoon and Monday night games, that'll be on the next episode coming out probably, if you're listening to this, probably within the next 12 hours. So but definitely by Sunday, it's going to be probably on Saturday morning. We're going to release that one. But if you could leave us a rate and review on the Apple Podcasts app or whatever app you use to listen to podcasts, that would be fantastic. We actually got 2 new reviews, but I'm not going to read one of them because they talked about us smoking weed, I think. Or they thought,
Probably when the Messiah was
Prior
here.
when Andre was here.
yeah, it probably was. It was October 22nd they put it. Where the fuck is it? Oh, here it is. Hold on. I just want to read it. One of them. So if you leave us a review, we'll read it out. All right, we got one from Ahidi. Said, great advice for fantasy football. They are a really good account, and you should definitely follow them for fantasy football help. This seems like probably one of the guys we are always constantly helping on our Instagram. So if you need
I see you guys going crazy.
if you need help with your lineup or whatnot, anything like that, hit us up on our Instagram at @AverageBros_fantasyfootball. We try and give the most help as we can. We're pretty quick on responding. I mean, there's 3 of us, and we all are linked to the account, so we're pretty good on getting back to you guys. And if we don't right away, don't be rude. You know what I'm saying?
Don't be prude either.
Don't be prude either. We're a couple of average bros. All right. And that's all I got for you. Go on YouTube, subscribe. We don't have very many subscribers on there because we always forget to push it. But there's lots of good content on there. Lots of little clips. Just little helpful stuff.
You can see Mike's reaction about his Venusaur.
Yeah, you can see me. Honestly, it brought almost a tear just thinking about it.
Yeah, I mean, because I can't see your face. I can see your eyes, but they're getting red.
Oh yeah,
I can see your
I am a
eyes.
little bit hidden over there. I'm like fucking goddamn kangaroo over here. Nobody can understand what we're talking about. But thank you for listening. Anything you guys want to add on before we sign off?
No.
We got a head shake nod from Tyler. Thank you and good night.
Good luck.
Good luck.
That's around.
Shout around.